Welcome to the Tennessee Star Evening News Update for Thursday, July 28th, 2022. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. In the news tonight, Tennessee Attorney General Herb Slattery is suing the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Turns out the U.S. Department of Agriculture is refusing to provide funding to K-12 public schools who refuse to bend the knee to transgender ideology. We'll give you all the details as well as an update on the lawsuit. Also, speaking of the Attorney General of Tennessee, there's a win for transparency in the process by which the Supreme Court selects the next Attorney General. As a reminder, Tennessee is the only state in the Union in which the Supreme Court of that state picks the Attorney General. For the first time, however, in the history of the state of Tennessee, we are about to find out the names of every single applicant for that job. But first, in our lead story tonight, so far, voter turnout is low in the August 4th primaries here in Tennessee. Early voting ends on Saturday, and so far, voters are not exactly excited about their choices for candidates. That's particularly true for the GOP primary in the new 5th Congressional District. Here is that story. In our lead story tonight, surprisingly low voter turnout across the state of Tennessee in next week's Republican primaries. Election Day is Thursday, August 4th, 1 week from today. Early voting began almost 2 weeks ago on July the 15th and continues for just 1.5 more days. Your last chance to early vote is noon, Saturday, July 30th. That low statewide voter turnout is especially noticeable in the bitterly contested GOP primary in the 5th Congressional District. Until redistricting, the 5th Congressional District was a safe Democrat seat. It's been in Democrat hands since way back in 1875. But the new boundaries of the district, which now includes parts of Davidson, Williamson, and Wilson counties, as well as all of Marshall, Murray, and Lewis counties, has turned this once safe Democrat district into a likely Republican pickup. That's an important change that could help Republicans take back the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives in November's midterm elections. But voters seem to be, so far, unenthused about the 9 candidates on the GOP primary ballot in that district. It's a district where political experts had expected at least 100,000 voters to cast their ballots in the August 4th GOP primary. Early voting results have so far been close to anemic. Scott Golden, the chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party, tells the Tennessee Star that as of Tuesday evening, only 17,000 votes have been cast in the GOP primary in early voting. Historically, the majority of early votes come in the last few days of early voting, but with the noon Saturday deadline approaching, it looks like the number of early votes cast in the Tennessee 5th Congressional District GOP primary may not top 35,000. If that's the case, based on earlier historical patterns, we may see just another 35,000 votes cast on Election Day, which would mean only 70,000 total votes will be cast in a race where 100,000 were expected. One reason why voter turnout may be low is the vast spending of outside groups on attack ads. The final tally of outside money could exceed $4 million, with all 9 of the local candidates here spending less than $2 million. Almost all of the outside money has been spent attacking the top 3 candidates, Andy Ogles, Beth Harwell, and Kurt Winstead. Voters really don't like mudslinging, it appears, and the low turnout seems to reflect that sentiment. With a low turnout and a crowded field of 9, this means that it won't take that many votes to win the GOP nomination in Tennessee's 5th Congressional District. 30% of votes cast just might do it. If turnout is 70,000, not the expected 100,000, that means the winning candidate could need as few as 21,000 votes to become the GOP nominee. And from what we hear from leaked polling data, the top three candidates, Murray County Mayor Andy Ogles, Speaker of the House, Tennessee, former Speaker of the Tennessee House, Beth Harwell, and retired Brigadier General Kurt Winstead, are all neck and neck. With 1 week until Election Day, any three of these candidates could win. We will report the results of the race next Thursday evening, August 4th, online at the TennesseeStar.com. That's the TennesseeStar.com. And in our morning radio program on Talk Radio 98.3 and 1510 WLAC. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Williamson County is a unique and wonderful place. We've worked hard to get here. Our success was founded on conservative principles and common sense solutions. Gino Bolso and his wife Kathy chose our community over a quarter century ago for these reasons. Gino wants to represent us in Nashville. A rock-solid conservative, Gino will promote fiscal responsibility, common sense growth, and he will support law enforcement. Vote Gino, State Representative. Paid for by Bolso for State Representative Bob Weatherly, Treasurer.
In other news, the Tennessee Attorney General's office is leading a lawsuit against the Biden administration, which recently said it will strip K-12 public schools of certain government benefits if they do not conform to the left-wing transgender ideology. Here's the statement, quote, Attorney General Herbert H. Slattery III, leading a 22-state coalition, along with Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, filed a lawsuit today in the Eastern District of Tennessee. The lawsuit seeks to stop the Biden administration from enforcing an expansive and unlawful interpretation of federal anti-discrimination laws under the threat of withdrawing key food assistance program funding. This was a statement released late Wednesday by the Attorney General's office. The Biden administration, through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has threatened to withhold school lunch benefits from those schools that do not allow males to participate in female athletics or males to use female restrooms. Quote, USDA is committed to administering all its programs with equity and fairness and serving those in need with the highest dignity. A key step in advancing these principles is rooting out discrimination in any form, including discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. That's what the government agency said back in May. At the same time, we must recognize the vulnerability of the LGBTQ plus communities and provide them with an avenue to grieve any discrimination they face. We hope that by standing firm against these inequities, we will help bring about much needed change, end quote. That's again from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Now, Attorney General Herb Slattery of Tennessee says the USDA does not have the authority to proceed. Quote, this case is yet again about a federal agency trying to change law, which is Congress's exclusive prerogative. The USDA simply does not have that authority. We have successfully challenged the Biden administration's other attempts to rewrite law, and we will challenge this as well. That's from Herb Slattery. Meanwhile, a congresswoman from Tennessee introduced legislation to halt the Biden administration's plan. As reported by the Tennessee Star, Representative Diana Harshbarger from the 1st District of East Tennessee introduced a bill to stop the plan and blasted the Biden administration in the process. Here's what she said, quote, punishing schools for failing to adopt radical transgender ideology is wrong. Ripping school lunches from low-income students because their schools disallow biological males to enter girls' restrooms and compete in girls' sports is nothing short of disgraceful. The Biden administration continues to abuse executive privilege to force Americans into compliance with an extreme agenda. Harshbarger continued that her bill, quote, protects students so they are not hungry at school. We'll keep you posted on how the federal courts rule on this litigation. Up next, Star News Network Chief Meteorologist Daphne DeLorean has today's fresh forecast from Middle Tennessee.
Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Chief Meteorologist Daphne DeLorean here. All right, it's been a rainy week. We've had showers and thunderstorms. We've had it today. We've had the clouds. It's muggy out there, even windy. Well, we still have the showers and storms going into this evening. It's going to be a scattered shower and storm event. Keep that in mind. Sometimes we will have some heavy downpours, which could lead to some areas having some flooding, which is a concern. So if you see any kind of water-covered roadways, don't take a chance. Don't try to drive through that. You want to turn around and don't drown. As cheesy as that sounds, it's very important. If you're heading out and about this evening, 83 degrees for your 7 p.m. temperature, an overnight low of 72 degrees. And again, we're still under a marginal risk for any storm to reach severe criteria, especially areas north. So we're talking about damaging wind as the greatest threat, not ruling out some storms with a little bit of hail. And of course, flooding is also a concern because the grounds are just saturated. We've had a lot of rain over a short period of time. So areas who have seen more rain, if you get a heavy downpour on top of that, that could lead to the flooding very quickly. Okay, we roll into Friday. TGIF plans are thinking, oh my gosh, we've had rain every single day this week. Finally, it's Friday. Give us a little sunshine. I wish I could. I wish I had control of that. I just don't. That's in God's power. We're talking about lots of clouds and showers and storms. Once again, 70% chance. So with that cloud deck, and then we have the rain, we're talking temperatures topping out in the mid-80s. So it's actually cooler than average. There's a silver lining in your forecast. We should be in the lower 90s for this time of year, mid-80s for your high. And so we'll take it, right? Okay, so that marginal risk in effect for Friday, some of those storms could reach severe criteria. Basically, what this is fueled by is a cold front moving into Middle Tennessee. It's not a very strong cold front, but it's enough to give us a decent amount of rain and storms, because what's going to happen as this cold front comes through, it's going to just set up comfortable and fuel more rain going into the weekend. So it becomes stationary, fueling multiple rounds of showers and storms, not only going into this evening, we're talking about Saturday, we're talking about Sunday, a decent chance for rain. So keep that in mind. I know it's the weekend. Many folks want to get outside, especially because we've had so much rain this week. You're like, okay, let's get out. It really matters on the weekend. We can have some fun activities outside. Well, keep in mind it's going to be another soggy weekend. Don't kill the messenger. Okay, my friends, this was your Middle Tennessee Fresh Forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Daphne DeLorean. And hey, I'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for an update on the timeline of the showers and storms going into the weekend. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
In our final story tonight, we have a breaking update on the process by which the Tennessee Supreme Court will select the next Attorney General of Tennessee. Sources tell the Tennessee Star that for the first time in the history of the state of Tennessee, the Tennessee Supreme Court will release the names of all candidates who have applied for the job of Attorney General shortly after the application deadline of noon tomorrow, that's Friday, July 29th, has passed. We at the Tennessee Star will invite all of those candidates to come onto our radio program, the Tennessee Star Report, and interview for the job with the public. Just a reminder, Tennessee is the only state in the union in which the Supreme Court picks the Attorney General. It's right there in the state constitution. The Supreme Court selects the Attorney General and reported to an 8-year term. Current Attorney General Herb Slattery is leaving office on August 31st, and the court will pick his successor. The court will announce finalists and hold public hearings on August 8th and 9th. We've got one potential candidate who's surfaced. Attorney John Harris, founder of the Tennessee Firearms Association, told the Tennessee Star that he is considering applying for the job. Be sure to go to the Tennessee Star tomorrow afternoon to see the names of every candidate who has applied for the job of Attorney General. That's TennesseeStar.com. That's it for the Tennessee Star Evening News Update for Thursday, July 28th, 2022. Be sure to subscribe to our news channels on YouTube and Rumble. the Tennessee Star, and the Star News Network. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. I'll see you on the radio tomorrow on the Tennessee Star Report, weekdays from 5 a.m. to 8 on Talk Radio 98.3 and 1510 WLAC.